So what I'm going to take the class today is from the last few classes that we say that when our awareness become so tuned with the present moment, then you go into that space of the depth. But then at that very moment, if the boredom or the restlessness hits you, you don't want to be in that space. Even you were consciously moving into that space, you try to come out and try to sort out something in the surface, means in the world. So today's practice is, I met with Sylvia yesterday, and it was very important. So I normally, when I meet you guys personally, I take notes on what's going on around the community. So Desa Mary is waiting. Today's class is we are going to work on the loss. Now, whether it's a loss of relationship, now for me, loss is greatly about the identification. Hi, Marie. Loss is all about the identity of losing my mother, losing my father in a very short period. And as much as it was devastating, if you ask me now, how do you feel about that loss? I think from my identification, my story, and my ego, that loss was a massive loss. But it also has sharpened you, awakened you, have brought a great deal of compassion and truth into my life, that loss is okay, because it has much more to teach you than what you have gained. So remember, you might be in this time in your life thinking about, oh my God, I lost that relationship with that person. I lost my relationship with my job, and all that thing, and thinking that it should have not happened might be your logical answer. Now remember, today's practice is whatever is happening to you, it has happened for a reason, not because you were a bad person, or not because you were not in the practice, not because of anything, but it is opening up something for you to realize much more of an insight. And that insight is only awakened more in the space of loss, because with the loss, you're also losing parts of your ego, parts of your story, parts of your security that you're holding on my family, my partner. And this is not just a loss of one thing, this also can be a loss of health. So today, whatever you're going through, I'm going to point into these areas deeper in your practice, that there is something has awakened in you and taken the place of loss if you give the time and the patience and the practice. That something in that space is there. Now, I don't know, you might call it emptiness, you might call it non-duality, doesn't matter. So now take a deep breath in and come into that space of your shoulders are relaxed, your chest is more open, your space of the mind is in a space of less structure, less of an order, but of a more of an acceptance. So I will gently move the camera towards Darren. Now take a deep breath in and very gently just observe your palms and see whether you're holding any tension in those fingers in the structure of the body, and very gently allowing that breath to come in and allow that breath to move out. Now, it's not so much of breathing in very forcefully. Can you just observe that you're allowing the stage of the breath to move in and the breath to move out? Now, in that very moment, you could see the drama change. Reaction change to respond. Demand is observed very differently. Now, when you come into that place, very gently, take a couple of more deep breaths. I'm breathing out very gently. From that conditioned mind, the rule-bound behavior, into a space of observing, innovation. And flexibility in this space is not more of a body, but more of a mind flexibility. Now, very gently take a deep breath in and twist the spine very gently onto the left. Very gently breathing out. Be more into the place of openness, flexible, and bring into that posture more playfulness, not so much of rigid old structure. Breathing in back into the center, shoulders relax, and change the leg formation, twist the spine to the other side. Very gently beginning to capture the attention, very gently, and observe that transformation happen in this very moment. Breathing in back into the center, shoulders relax and your chest open. Now shake those arms and legs if you need, so that you can release any static that is slowly start coming into that space of understanding. Now, the disappearance of whatever the loss is also loss of ego. That is where the true self arises. That's where the Christ, the Buddha consciousness comes. So this moment is nothing other than rejoicing in that space, whether it's a doing to the body, whether you're taking a creative step in the mind to do something, doesn't matter. Now take a deep breath in and very gently stretch the neck to the right side and left shoulder open. Very gently coming into that understanding, the observation, because these are all energy channels that work, that you call body. Breathing in, very gently bring the head back into the center and very gently dropping onto the other side. Now, very gently opening up, very gently. You're very gently slowing down in that race, that what you think that life is. Breathing in back into the center, shoulders relax and chest open. Now elevate the space of the heart. Now very gently holding onto the back of the neck. Very gently take a deep breath in and tilt the head back into that interlaced part of the fingers. And very gently open the mouth wide and close few times. Open and close, open and close. Now elbows together, chin to the chest, breathe out and collapse the spine with that. Now breathing in very gently, elbows pointing out, opening up, looking up to the ceiling. Now keep the spine in that space of the cow and the cat. Breathe out, elbows together. Suck the belly in. Now anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. There's a tiny bit of a depth happening. Every moment you are embracing into that space of the depth of an ego, a rise of a consciousness, breathing in, opening up, elbows pointing out as much as possible, lift up the space of the heart. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Breathing in into the space of that cow, tongue roll up onto the upper palate. Energy is moved into that inner feeling, inner glow, inner warmth of the third eye. Allow that energy to rise, whatever you call joy, in the absence of the ego disappearing. And very gently allow a spark of that light appear on that space of that darkness. It's only needed spark of the truth. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Now stop the breathing and hold the locks. You have created a bridge between you and the God. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate. Now very gently spread the wings wide up to the ceiling and spread the wings wider, 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 and twisting the spine to the left, completely breathe out. This will slowly lead you step by step into that space of the consciousness. Now very gently change the leg formation. Arms rest onto the ground. Breathe out the twisting the spine to the other side. Very gently start tuning that energy and creating that authenticity in that practice. Very gently leading into that space of the realization. Breathing in back into the center, shoulders relax and chest open. Now very gently, shoulders relax and chest open. Now stretch the legs into the front and give it a good shake, releasing the tension. Now shake, 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 shake. Now feet pointing at each other and very gently, heels pointing out. Very gently come into that comfort of opening up those hips. Now very gently take a deep breath in and bring that left leg into the back onto the space of the pigeon pose. Shoulders relax and chest open, lift up the space of the heart, very gently lift up, take a deep breath in, observe where you're listening, where your eyes, where is the space of the sense, and very gently drop the elbows, walk the palms on the out breath into the front, releasing the tension, palms facing up. So you're learning, but what are you learning? You're needing to be free from all your old habits, all judgment, all identity. At this very moment, observe that losing it as a loss is gaining something. Now take a deep breath in, palms facing down, shoulders relaxed, walk them towards you. Now into a plank, back of the head very gently lift up to create the space of the spine, very gently, naturally, breathing into that space, that what you're creating. Now very gently drop the knees, give a good rotation to the hips and waking up that space of the digestion, almost like your second brain. Wider rotation, very gently onto the other side on a wider rotation, and very gently releasing the tension of the old story, the old corpse, the old body, and very gently keeping the body to change. Doesn't matter it's aging, but you're just allowing from that corpse of the memory to create a space of change. You can accept a tree being old, but you can't accept your body being aging. But very gently create that space without denying that space. Drop the knees very gently. Stretch the spine into the back, taking a deep breath in, very gently bringing the chest into the front, tailbone curving. Now very gently drop the belly, elbows onto the floor, breathing in into a gentle sacredness of the Bhujangasana. Very gently, very gently. Overlooking onto the left side on an out breath, delicately breathing in back into the center, yet tuned onto the other side. Breathing in back into the center. Breathe out onto the down face. Shoulders relax, chest open, bend your knees. Very gently coming into that space, the very root of the energy. Now left foot into the front onto the pigeon pose. Shoulders relax, chest open, lift up the space of the heart. Shoulders relax, take a deep breath in, breath out, very gently dropping those elbows, walking those palms, and very gently palms facing up. Now very gently observe and accept the new richness, the new possibility, the new transformation that entering into the space that you call the body, that you call the mind. With greater consolation. Now very gently observe, when you say observe without judgment, that means without guilt. Deep down, without fear. That is where the space of the paradise is. Now take a deep breath in, very gently walk those palms back, shoulders relax, chest open. Breathing in into a plank. Now breathing in into a lower plank. Elbows tucked in, or you can drop, breathing in into an up face. Breathe out towards the down face. Now shoulders relax and just open, Bend your knees if you cannot come into the down phase, but very gently warming up into it, coming into the possibility of the transition and the transformation. First the intention, then allow the body to move into that space, into that consolation. Come into that more contentment. Now take a deep breath in, drop the knees. Very gently stretch the spine, palms facing up, releasing that tension. Now very gently rolling and bringing the chest into the front. Breathing in into an up face. Breathing out towards a down face. Breathing in into a plank. Strong on the pelvic floor, back of the head aligned. Drop the knees. Stretch the spine into the back, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Breathing in into an up face. Breathe out towards a down face. Head down, shoulders relax and chest open, and the back of the neck is releasing its tension. Now very gently into a plank. Left knee onto the floor. Now very gently right arm reaching up to the ceiling, clench and unclench. Opening up, now right leg up very gently. Now without tilting that right hip, 6 deep cycles of breath. Only the arm moves in a circular motion, releasing the tension of the right brain hemisphere, right shoulder, and the right side of the body. Very gently, keep the pelvic floor. Very gently tune in. Now very gently onto the floor, right knee onto the floor, left leg stretch into the back, left arm reaching up to the ceiling, opening up, control that left hip, 6 deep cycles of breath. Moving with that space of the gravitation, but keep the body as a support, breath as a helper, and communicate with all these energies. Allow that life to enter in that space of elevating, no limits to its aspirations. Engage that pelvic floor, palm onto the floor. Now drop the knee and very gently breathe out towards cat. Anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Create that space of the openness in the spine, space of the opening of the wealth of the energy. Breathing in, drop the belly, tongue roll up onto the upper palate. Shoulders relaxed, chest open, opening up that space. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Breathing in, tongue roll up, push the bum up to the ceiling, drop the belly, open up that space of the throat. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Bum has to be totally flat. Neutral spine. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Open up, left arm reaching under the right armpit. Bring that shoulder down as much as possible. Much as possible. Now very gently, right arm reaching up to the ceiling, into the sacrum. Now, if this is uncomfortable, then that's fine. You just take a posture. But the idea is you're tipping over the right shoulder, your left shoulder is dropped, and you're releasing the tension that the neck is holding of those lifelong stories, demands, maybe still the loss. My right arm reaching into the back, onto the floor. Very gently pulling the other arm out and very gently performing the posture when you're ready onto the other side, which you will allow to open up that body and spending time with the breath, using the breath as a spender to enjoy the moment that you have created. It's not about reaching somewhere or something. So open up into the practice and observe that you're not clinging into anything. Shoulders relaxed, chest open. So allow the practice as a tremendous invention and bring that space of richness. Now very gently drop and very gently coming into a space of the cat. Very gently dropping the ideas that have been imposed in your memory. Breathing in, drop the belly, opening up and create that space onto the dimension of that cow. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Head down. Now very gently take a deep breath in. Come into a neutral space. Give a good rotation to the hips. Creating that capability on the digestion to come anything into the life that you can digest. And having that stomach, which is very much in the space of intelligence, onto the other side. And then ask the question, can you still rejoice your life? That is what is today, even after your loss. So whatever the cause is, ask yourself now through the practice, why am I suffering? Which part of my life is unintelligent? Now very gently stretch the spine into the back. Take a deep breath in, stretch the hips into the front. Open up, shoulders roll back, breathe out, stretch the spine back. Very gently so that you can really relax into that space of the posture. Because you have created that space. Drop all the ideas that has imposed on your loss. Be respectful for what you had, but what is stopping you creating something, or the lessons of that creation, much more bigger than your loss. Because with the loss enters something is more meaningful, and the meaning has to be discovered in a space of your own creation. You will only find the meaning not because you have borrowed it from someone, because through this practice you have created it for you. Now very gently take a deep breath in, shoulders relaxed and chest open. Very gently drop the belly and coming into the front. Now soften the hips, shoulders relaxed, soften the hips. Now take a deep breath in and clasp the hands in the back, and very gently take a deep breath in and lift up the chest into the space of Ardha Dhanurasana. Now, if you can reach onto the ankles, work with those ankles without tightening the lower back, and very gently push that feet onto the back of the wall so that your chest will lift up, and very gently create that space without tightening the lumbar spine. And now very gently bring that heels closer to the buttocks. Use your thumb and create a pressure point on your back of the foot so that you can detox the liver a little bit more, space of the pancreas, space of the spleen, and very gently let go. Now very gently allow the head to turn onto a side that is naturally moving in after releasing those feet. Everyone has a different side that their energy will flow. So now you're just bringing the flow, not a rock of a body, not a rock of a mind, but a tune, a turiya. Now you have created it. You have created that space. Now turning the head onto the other side. Now very gently turning, thus I let go of the feet. Now very gently holding onto the left ankle. Now turn the hip onto the ceiling. So you can use the right elbow on the floor, turn. And very gently bring that left knee onto the chest, onto the left side. And very gently drop the elbows and open up the groin. Very gently warm up the groin. Now stretch the left leg totally onto the left side. Now be careful if your groins are not warm enough. Just start breathing into that space and create the temperature of the groin to be warmer. Now palms onto the chest level and breathing in into a gentle cobra. Opening up. Now the foot should be pointing into the front so that you're opening up that space and you're discovering the body where you're holding that tension. Now very gently create that space for you, or bring that infinite spark into the finite of where you're holding and create. Now very gently knee to the chest, very gently stretch back the leg. Now take a gentle breath, gentle breath. Now observe the space of the heart, observe the space of the mind, observe it. Mind is not you. Mind is where the ego lives, and it can be agitated, it can be restless, it can be both. You have to take a step back. Should you go with it, or you should observe it? Should you move with it, or should you move into the space of your realization? Now, very gently holding on to the right ankle and bring that and turning the right hip onto the right side and create that space. When you're ready, right knee to the chest, completely breathe out and opening up the dimension of that so-called body, so-called tightness, and stretch the right leg onto the right side. Take a deep breath in, palms onto the chest level, opening up. Now, any moment, if this opportunity to create meaning for your practice, and if the meaning is not being discovered, then gently go back to the space of the prana. Then come to the asana. Then come to discovering the dharana. Then create furthermore into the space of observing the dhyana. So little by little, you're merging into that space. So it's not a place that in the memory you can find it. It is something that you have to be composed into the moment. Now take a deep breath in, very gently stretch, release, and let go, allowing your head to turn onto the floor. Third eye sit on the fist. Now very gently onto the knees, very gently, and stretch the spine. Release the tension of those glutes. Release the tension. Now stretch the legs into the front, wake up the spine, and very gently lying down on the floor. Now with this posture, just try to create some space if you are doing the postures with someone, because you're going to drop the legs and release the tension. But before that, bring the feet closer to the buttocks. Now very gently, palms facing down next to the hips. Now I want you to gently tuck the tailbone under and peel off the spine from the floor, one vertebra at a time, very gently on the outward. Now very gently take a deep breath in and very gently bring the spine down one vertebra at a time from the cervical spine, thoracic spine. The last bit is the lumbar spine. And when the lumbar comes down, very gently tuck the tailbone under, curl the spine and peel off the spine from the floor, from the lumbar to the cervical. Very gently, one vertebra at a time. Just bring that living, meaning part into the spine. And that part has to be discovered. So very gently come into a place with the breath into 6 cycles of this movement. Very gently, you understand the theory of it, but now you need to become more of experiencing it. Understand it. Now, the meaning. Now you have to become. When you're becoming less than forcing, You're creating. You're giving birth into that moment of richness, not just the loss, the meaning to truth. So the pain of the loss is also a creation of something further. Now, after 6, very gently bring the spine down, knees to the chest, completely breathe out. Now lock onto the toes and feet stretch up to the ceiling. Now feet wide apart, but the shoulders are still on the floor. Now very gently take a deep breath in, bend the knees slightly and take a print of the shoulders and the hips on the floor and holding onto the sole of the feet. Very gently. Now observating very gently, passively in your practice for the meaning to come, for the truth to feel. Now, this present moment, there is a liberation, there is a truth, there is a freedom for you to take that energy to create. Not just cursing the loss, but the field of what you call body, mind, spirit is there to create anything, to be created. So posture and breathing and the asana, pranayama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi is a joy, such an adventure, such an ecstasy. Now very gently, sole of the feet together, knees wide apart, holding under the ankles onto the toes. Now take a deep breath in. You can breathe, bring the toes to the forehead or forehead reaching onto the toes. Completely breathe out, but very gentle. Now you have to release the tension of forcing it. Breathe and very gently let go of the upper torso, releasing the tension. Now very gently knees to the chest. Give a big hug, breathe out. Grab those knees, forehead onto the knees, stomach very gently pulling in, praising and embracing that space very gently. Now relax the back. Now very gently arms stretch onto the shoulder heights. And left knee on top of the right knee and dropping onto the left side. Now, when you drop onto the left side, your head is turning into the opposite direction. Now, very gently, I want you to be in this space because there is a beautiful release and a beautiful energy move through the body. And I want you to, with the breath, embrace this new alignment. Embrace the beauty itself, not achieving anything. Embrace the wealth itself. Embrace the fragrant itself that you are. Really. So when you really release all the identity and the ego, there is no label you're holding other than the openness of this beautiful space. Now very gently take a deep breath in, right knee on top of the left knee into the center and dropping onto the right side with your own time, lying onto that space, very gently head turning onto the opposite direction. So now very gently come into this space of this moment where you're creating these beautiful things out of the body and using the breath and firing with energy, something to turn into something beyond. Included place. So very gently allow this practice of the inquiry to come into that space of the truth, pureness. Back to the center, shoulders relax and chest open. Now very gently rock the spine into the front and into the back, and very gently, not forcing, but through the pelvic floor, waking up each and every vertebra, because your spine is the antenna that creates the energy from the universe. So releasing all those pollution that the memory has brought you into that space. Rock the spine and come into a seating posture. Shoulders relax and chest open. Take a deep breath in. Gently shoulders relax and chest open. Twist the spine to the left on the out breath. Breathing in, very gently come into the center. Shoulders relax and chest open. Change the leg formation. Twisting the spine to the other direction. Breathing back into the center. Shoulders relax, chest open. Now very gently knees to the chest. Now very gently breathing in. Stretch the legs up to the ceiling, into the Navasana. Breathe out, knees to the chest. Now keep the chin up, shoulders rolled back, not slouching forward. Breathing in. Breathe out. Don't move into a fixed idea of the posture. Breathing in. Become naked, become nude, and become open and become empty. Breathe out, knees to the chest. Breathing in. Look onto the toes, chin up, breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breath out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Hold, 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 hold. Breathe out, knees to the chest. Shoulders relaxed, just open. I know you are crying, but you will thank me for afterwards. Summer is coming, so get ready with those abs. It is not the most holistic thing to say, but looking good is also good. Shoulders relaxed, chest open. All right, 5 more of those. Again, breathing in, up again. Breathe out, knees to the chest. What is crying is your old self. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Breathing in. Breathe out. Now very gently relax into a sitting pose, shoulders relax. Now, this very moment, I want you to close your eyes and open to the self that is no longer have to be an idea. Now, very gently allow each breath to open up this beautiful energy of meaning, energy of creation, whether you're going to see colors, flowers, rainbow, doesn't matter. Just start just enjoying gentle moments of this very moment. Whether it's dancing with your breath of your wind, whether it's dancing with a feeling of meaning, but don't start with a conclusion. Very gently. Enter into this place without knowledge, even what I have taught you before. The knowledge itself can be a barrier. Because what you're seeing might be patterns, but let them communicate with you. But they might not just communicate as form. It might not communicate as idea. And you're not looking for it. Because of this narrowness in the mind and its loss, all that is available from the cosmic force is missed. If you allow the colors to come, it will take on a journey of that psychedelic. Leave all your books away, leave all your teachings away, all philosophies away. Today's class is about releasing the mess of the mind. Let it come into that space. Coming into that space. If the boredom arises, restlessness comes, it's just a thought. Try not to create a feeling out of it. Or when there is a feeling, don't try to create a thought out of it. Now remember, all the knowledge is gathered. So you don't need to be creative on those gathered knowledge. Don't allow your life to be a dead. Create momentums. Keep the life even in a shorter period on that mystery. And don't supply any answers to it. Let today be that you do something that people might think you're crazy. If that brings joy, just be in that space. That's where you're going to create the evolved version. And that space, the loss of your old self has created something much more. You're meant to be in this world, always creating, not just stagnate into a place of security. Or when you come into that realization, very gently, palms onto the namaskar position in that realization. And if that realization had a vibration without a language, what would that vibration be? So if you are willing, you can take a deep breath and chant the Om 3 times, that you have been blossoming into the moment of the reincarnation. Breathing in. Om. Arms gently raised back to the ground, cleansing the space and the aura, and may the vibration of your realization, creating this space of wealth around what you call body, house, harmony, state, up to the space. Very gently protecting the space of the crown. Realization moving in and releasing the tension of the old third eye, throat. Maybe be cautious about that what we constantly talk about, whether it's lacking, whether it's not enough. So may the practice bring that part to observe what is our repeated story. Palms onto the heart chakra, keeping that space of the heart open and coming into the heart of all your problems and difficulties. Solar plexus, navel, Mooladhara. Arms gently raised back to the crown, cleansing the space and the aura. Touch the earth, respect for the earth, that we are taking gentle, a very temporary refuge on this dimension that we call earth or school. Gently coming out of that physical touch Comes onto the Namaskar position, that you have recognized your truth. Namaste, that what you really see as you coming out of the posture. Namaste. So, thank you again for coming into that space of the practice. It's always good to see all of you and all your loving pets and friends and partners and everybody. So as you see that we are going, even we are using a lot of postures and breathing and all the asanas and the pranayamas, but we are moving into the spectrum of the yoga a bit more further onto the dharana and the dhyana and the samadhi. So that we are very gently moving into the discovery of who we are, what we are. Otherwise, the loss of things, loss of my youth, loss of my wealth, loss of my parents, these things, these things can gravitate you furthermore into that space of suffering. So very gently use the class, very gently, as a pointer, as a reminder that you are more than your story, because you come to this life with a purpose, and your purpose is very important to the world. It is very important. That is the truth of the missing link. And it's very important to the whole universe that you find that purpose, not just for yourself, but to the others. So may you all find the purpose of your life and rekindle that space. And my love to you all. So Liz, Daz, Maria and Sage, Alana, Sylvia, Melissa, Matt and Matt's partner, and Mary. Lovely to see you all. So please do these classes again. They're all on the channel. Just go and do it. The second time when you're doing all listening before bed, it will realize something bit more deeper than the first time, than the second time, and the third time. All right, big hugs to you all. Love you so much.